Oh man, you guys are going to get a lot out of this one. We're going to talk about some controversial stuff, and I'm going to give you my 2 cents about it at the very end. So stay tuned because tonight we're talking about Suboxone. Ooh. Hey guys, welcome back to Tell Your Story. My name is Nathan, and yes, tonight we are talking about Suboxone. And I have to confess something to you. Yesterday, I decided to post a poll to my local community, which involves a lot of people that are in sobriety and recovery. And I posted a question in the form of a statement that was, if I said this to you, Suboxone is a crutch, how would you respond? And yes, I know, this is a pretty touchy subject, so the question that I put into play, or the statement, was kind of raunchy.
You need to leave! That is disgusting.
And believe it or not, you guys really delivered. 71 comments later, and we had some really provocative and some thought-moving conversation. It was really good, so thanks for the feedback. So let me preface this video by saying that I have never used Suboxone. I'm an alcoholic, and everything that I'm about to tell you and or, whatever my opinion is on Suboxone only comes from the research that I've done personally and from things that I've seen in my local recovery groups and counselors and things of that nature. If you've never heard of or don't know what Suboxone is or does, if we do a quick Google search, Google tells us that Suboxone is a prescription drug that is used to treat dependence on opioid drugs. It comes as an oral film that's placed under the tongue and or between the cheek and the gums. Suboxone is actually a combination of two drugs, buprenorphine and naloxone. I hope I got that right. It is a partial opioid agonist, and its job is to deliver diminished opioid doses to a person that is addicted to stronger opioids. It provides a way for a person to be gradually weaned off their previous addiction while minimizing withdrawal symptoms. In a nutshell, Suboxone is a narcotic drug. It is an opioid that's given to people that are addicted to opioids like heroin. In a way, they're given smaller dosages of something less potent to try and wean them off their previous addiction. Believe it or not, Suboxone over the past couple of years, maybe even the last decade, has been in the news for being called the blockbuster drug because it can turn back time on heroin addiction. But Suboxone has sort of a darker side that, some people are talking about here and there. Suboxone on paper seems to be a super effective drug. And when we say effective, I mean that makes it sort of like a double-edged sword, because while you are delivering a narcotic, yes, again, Suboxone is a narcotic to wing off of another narcotic, it sort of creates something different. It creates a whole new drug addiction. What's really funny is this addiction requires an entirely different kind of treatment than, say, opioids like heroin. So you got to go out and get a whole new different treatment team to help you out with this addiction rather than, say, a Suboxone treatment. I pulled up a statement from PsychCentral.com that says that it explains that people with addictions to opioids can't go cold turkey. Of those that do, only 25% remain in sobriety for a full year. So the only choice is to take an opioid drug like Suboxone to reduce the withdrawal effects in the first place. You might even think of Suboxone in this case as the lesser of two evils, maybe even sort of like a California sober temporarily. I'll explain that one in another video. One of the really awesome things about that poll that I took yesterday was that I got some opinions from some local professional counselors, folks with degrees and certificates that help people in active Suboxone treatments. So let's talk about some of the things that they said. One counselor said, Suboxone is no solution long-term or short-term. Withdrawals are even more severe and made longer. The clinic I worked in had $8 million pulled in a year from Suboxone. This drug gets people high and keeps them dead inside. A second counselor wrote, recovery looks different for everyone. When medical addiction treatments, like Suboxone, are combined with therapy and the individual really wants change, it's seen to be very successful. And finally, the third counselor wrote, is Suboxone a crutch? Yes, I believe it is. But that's not a bad thing. Crutches are useful tools. Once an addict is dead, it's too late. I believe Suboxone can be a helpful tool if used in conjunction with therapy and the 12 steps, as long as it is not a permanent solution. That was the professional's opinion. Well, what about mine? I'm an outsider. I'm an alcoholic, so I've never used Suboxone. But what I can tell through my research and talking to other people is that Suboxone is definitely a crutch. It's used by those that still just can't handle life and life's problems. For now, they've got to keep dosing themselves to get high until eventually they, become sober by getting rid of the drugs altogether. I think the bigger picture shows us that Suboxone is a deterrent for damage and destruction. But inevitably, I think that people really need to know that you're kidding yourself if you think you can do this with Suboxone alone. Suboxone by itself is just another means to drugs. Whereas if you combine that with therapy and counseling from people that are licensed to help you with what's up in here, maybe combined with Suboxone, we would see more results that are effective. We've had people in the local area that have gone through Suboxone treatment, but they had a supportive community that's been around them at the same time. For those that are doing Suboxone alone, it's just, you're kidding yourself. It's not going to work. Recovery is just as much a physical as it is, maybe even in more ways, a mental game too. Make sure you take care of what's up here as well as what's in here. That's the best and most effective way to get, truly sober. Anyway, that's all I got for tonight. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.